Special session of Dune City Council, Thursday, August 4th, 2017, 2 p.m. order. Can we get a roll call, please?
Certainly. Council President Shirley Meyer.
Present.
Councilor Bob Forsythe.
Present.
Councilor Ellen Montgomery.
Present.
Councilor Tom Allen.
Here.
Councilor Robert Orr.
Here.
And Councilor Duke Wells hasn't been excused.
You also have this pledge of allegiance. I think I want to ask you a question, and the question is, in terms of before we move to approve the agenda, I'd like to talk about the absence of this very important counselor here, who to me has been our lead counselor dealing with marijuana issues. And I'm tempted to table it until he is able to be here in the discussion, and yet with this kind of turnout, I don't want to get lynched either. But I think that it might be important of an issue to schedule another special meeting. This meeting was supposedly initially scheduled to only have a budget change, and then all of a sudden we got some input from Councilor Wells, and I said, let's get it on the agenda and get on with it. And I was expecting him to be here, and he's not here. So I'm kind of at a loss.
The other problem I have with it is I wouldn't intend to act on any resolution that was given to me 10 minutes before this meeting. I've not seen the resolutions. I've had not a chance to look up and make sure that the references, ORS that are referenced are correct. So it's up to the board, I guess, but I wouldn't pass or sign on anything that I haven't researched the ORS.
Other thoughts?
I'm certainly sensitive to both sides. I think a lot of people have come out to hear this discussion. At the same time, as you say, Councilor Wells has been instrumental in our discussions of this issue, and I do think it would be unfortunate to proceed without his presence and his vote.
Councilor Meyer.
Yes.
Another option for consideration is to go ahead and, when you reach that item on the agenda, do the first reading and open the public hearing, but not, and take the public input, but not close the public hearing, leave the record open. And then when Mr. Wells, when Councilor Wells returns, you can either watch it on TV or come into the office and listen to the tapes to get caught up. If you think that might be an option,
And
I'll consider.
Yeah, I was considering an option similar to that. I think just have the first reading and not the second.
Right, that's what I mean, because it's two separate actions.
I like that. Yeah, but there are a lot of things that this hearing is
Sure.
obviously.
Well,
I want to hear.
all right, then I need a motion to approve the agenda. Second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Opposed. One opposed, and the rest were nays. Announcements and correspondence. It is with heartfelt sorrow that we announce the passing of our mayor, Rebecca Rudy, on August 16, 2017. The memorial service will be held on August 30th, beginning at 1 p.m. at the Florence Event Center. And I would hope that I would see as many people there as I do here. And, have something that's not on the agenda that you want to talk about?
Correct.
Okay. And we limit me to 3 minutes.
I have a request to review some permits that was allowed by the city regarding a lot requirement.
Should be. Catherine, when you introduce yourself, just indicate whether you're a June City resident or not. We don't need your address and record.
Going to fill us in on,
Okay, so the owners on Dewey tax number, you've already had a chance to read this, is that correct?
Just now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you could turn to the application, it's 3 pages in. And look to the top right-hand corner, the very top, it says tax lot number 2806. Applicant is Aubrey Mathis. The water master of the state of Oregon believes that a well at 430 feet was developed over 3 months on New Gray, tax lot 2806 for Valerie Mathis. Now, if you go back one sheet and look to the far right corner, you'll see that that is tax number 2806 as well, map number. But you'll see that the owner is Ron Smalley and Patricia Aiken. So what we have is we have Patricia Aiken and Ronald Smalley own this lot. And they have permits and they've built a house that's on a meter lot. They have a meter there. But right next to that meter is a nice 430-foot well. That was approved by the city and sent to the Water Master of Oregon. And the well driller began drilling in February of this year and finished at 430 feet in the month of May. I reviewed the wells in the area. They hit water at 171 feet, and they kept going. Loading Lake, I'm sorry, can I have 3 more minutes?
I'll give you a yes.
Loading Lake is at 80 feet. They are at 430. Why would someone go 430 feet deep when the average well in the area is that of 171? The DEQ wants to know as well. And they also want to know why the city allowed a permit for a well that already has a meter and water to it in a domestic residential zone that's platted for homes. It's on New Bright. All of them have wonderful lots. They've done a lot of development in there. It looks great, except for all the missing trees, of course. But there's no well, or there shouldn't have been a well allowed at all, especially at 130 feet, since all of those lots in there have stubbed water. You don't have to do a pay for a meter. So my question is, why would Valerie Mathis want a well on a residential lot that she doesn't own, when there's already a meter signed up for a home being built by permit as we speak? I would like a resolution to this, and I would like a 30-day notice so that the DEQ, EPA, and the Water Master may attend. Do you have any objections?
Andy, where are we for this?
At this point, because it's public comment, you are not allowed to,
This is not a
but
conversation.
you can, yeah, it's not a conversation, thank you.
Okay.
So is there a way to table this for a meeting for resolution?
Your comments will be taken under consideration. We'll take a look at the documents. I would suggest that if the city manager has not yet done so, she will contact the state water manager and review some of this, and we will get back to it. But in public comments, it's not a conversation, it's not a town hall, it's not a conversation between the board and the audience. So thank you for your stuff, and we certainly will take these documents, give it to the city manager, and
Okay, thank you.
see what we can come up with answers to.
Okay.
Thank you. That's the only one signed up.
Yes.
And new business, appointment and swearing in of the new mayor. Any of you want to throw your hat in the ring?
I do.
Okay. Anyone else? So we need a motion.
I move that council appoint Forsyth to the position of mayor for the term to be served in the absence of Rebecca Ridley.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, Sheldon. It's a position that you would like to do. And you've been here a long time, you've done a long
I've been here a long time, I've done this before a long time, and I usually draw this big of a crowd. I'm thinking that I might be a good council president.
Oh, I see, okay.
And fill in when I need to.
All right, that's, you're comfortable with that.
I'm comfortable with that.
All right.
All those in favor of the motion? Signify by saying aye. Opposed? Congratulations.
Thank you, Greg.
You'll need, Council Forsyth to come forward. You didn't sworn in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's the notary. I, Robert Forsyth,
I, Robert Forsyth,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear.
that I will uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States of America,
Okay.
the constitutional laws of the state of Oregon,
Right.
the charter and code of Dune City.
The charter and codes of Dune City.
I will faithfully perform the duties of mayor
I will faithfully perform the duties of mayor
to the best of my ability as long as I'm in office.
to the best of my ability as long as I'm in office.
Just sign.
Please excuse a little bit of disruption to move this around. see. Yeah, 7B, thank you. Days and times of regular meeting sessions.
This was a proposal of mine at our last meeting.
Yeah.
Because when I was running as president, I would rather have the meetings be on Wednesdays because then there's staff here on Thursdays.
Right.
And if we have it on Thursdays, then we don't have another day or two or three or four before we get to discuss things. So to me, it just made some sense to shift it to Wednesday so that we have Thursday to interact with staff if we need to.
And did we also mention about 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock.
We get a little earlier for folks.
Yeah. So that's my idea. But
Okay.
I thought we'd already done that. But
If we need a motion, I so move.
All right. We have a motion to move our meetings till Wednesday at 6.
Yes.
Is that the second Wednesday? Second Wednesday at 6.
At dinner?
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Yes. Second.
Second. Any further conversation? All in favor? Stay by aye, please.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, it's passed. Thank you. So, folks, your next exciting meeting will be Wednesday.
Good question.
yeah,
That would be 13th of September.
It should be the 13th.
13th of September at 6 o'clock. Thank you. Supplemental budget, Jane, you're on.
Yes, in your packets, you'll see a proposed supplemental budget. Notice was issued pursuant to state law and has been published accordingly. The changes are pretty simple. It didn't change the bottom line. What we did add, removing funds from the unappropriated ending fund balance in the general fund and moving an additional $41,000 into capital outlay for the community center. And then in the road fund, again, taking an additional, if I can get there, that would be on page, oh, they're not numbered. Anyway, the State Street Fund, taking an additional $40,000 out of the unappropriated ending fund and putting it into capital outlay to acquire equipment and an equipment shed, chipper shredder, that kind of. And this is with regard to the proposed purchase of property across the street from Dune City Hall.
Thank you. And we have a resolution on that?
I do, it's on the agenda.
Number 16.
Yeah. You will need to hold a public hearing on the
Public
issue.
hearing on it. Okay. Which public hearing? So at this time, we're doing a public hearing later. Is that how you're doing? Okay. Okay, ordinance 245 regarding ban on marijuana business and facilities in the Dune City city limits, first reading. What I'll show on my agenda.
Did you read this?
Oh, how's that?
This is for executive session.
Second. Got it.
Red is out loud, black is to yourself.
All right, at this point, we'll open the public hearing, and the proposed ordinance requires 2 readings before it is enacted. City Charter, Section 34.3 provides that both readings may be read by title only. If no council member present at the meeting requests that it be read in full, and if the copy of the ordinance is provided to each member and all requirements of postage and advertising have been met. I assume that is that a 24-hour, Jamie?
I'm sorry?
Is that a 24-hour posting?
Yes, 24 hours is what we're required.
Okay. And does any counselor desire that the ordinance be read in full? No? Okay. All right, I would entertain a motion to read the ordinance by title only.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Is there, I'm sorry, was there any discussion? None? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. So it passes. So the ordinance will be read by title only. The title of the ordinance is an ordinance of the City of Dunes City regarding a ban on medical marijuana producers, medical marijuana processing sites, medical marijuana dispensaries, recreational marijuana producers, recreational marijuana processors, recreational marijuana wholesalers, and recreational marijuana retailers, referencing ordinance and declaring an emergency. So now we'll go to the public hearing.
Right, now you move on to the next item, which is the public hearing on the supplemental budget.
Okay. All right. Supplemental budget. You're putting it in red to somebody who has color issues. Okay. All right, so we need to, well, that's the executive session. Here we go, this is, all right. Now, we're opening the public hearing for proposed supplemental budget at, what is that, 2:18. Is there anybody that, in the audience that would like to comment on the proposed supplemental budget, which was the moving money around in our budget so that we have money to purchase property?
There's no one signed in?
Nobody? All right, thank you. In that case, then we'll close the public hearing. 30 seconds, please. Okay. Now we'll go on to a public hearing on ordinance 245. We now open the ordinance 245 for public hearing at 2:19 p.m. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to comment in favor of the proposed ordinance?
You might state what that ordinance is.
The ordinance that we've jumped around to now too is 245, which is the marijuana. Voting of the marijuana. Leslie, what's it? Adele? Leslie, I'm sorry, Leslie. Please.
Would you come forward, if you would please state your name for the record and whether or not you are a Dune City resident? Thank you.
West Ronald, Dune City resident. Dune City Charter vests its power with its council members who are elected by citizens having the right to vote within our city. The 7-member council includes 6 council members and 1 mayor. The council are entrusted by its voting citizens to act in the best interest of the citizens they represent. We are at a special hearing today, August 24th, having amended the agenda on Monday to include this action item. We have complied with the 24-hour posted requirement as required by our charter. This ordinance is an emergency and should be treated no differently than Dune City Council members treated a similar emergency ordinance number 227 dated April 29, 2014 upon a unanimous vote by the council making the ordinance take effect that same day. The citizens believe the emergency exists and in the protection of the peace, health, and safety and the welfare of the citizens in Dune City feel it should be declared, allowing this ordinance to go into effect today without delay. The citizens of Dunes request Dune City Council pass the ordinance declaring this emergency. The signed ordinance shall act as a moratorium until a general election occurs, which will happen in November 2018. At that time, the voters will decide. The citizens respectfully request the mayor sign and date the opt-out form during the session. The form is needed along with a copy of the ordinance. The citizens respectfully request the mayor direct the reporter to properly notice OLCC and the Department of Agriculture of the actions taken here today. Doing so will stop all pending applications at the OLCC and the Department of Agriculture. The council members and the citizens have been told there is nothing we can do. The authority of the cities and counties to prohibit the establishment of cannabis-related businesses is based on law, ORS 475B.800, adoption of ordinances, referral to the electors for approval. Council members should have completed copy of this law. The authority was hard fought by senators to preserve local rule. They understood that section 133 chipped away at local rule, so they passed ORS 475B.800 and added it to the ORS rules during 2015. Thank you for taking this emergency action today, addressing this urgent issue.
Thank you. Charles Mann?
Yes, Charles Bank, 83431 Woodland Lane, Dune City. I found out about the marijuana grow operation near my house 9 days ago while getting a vegetation removal permit. Never having seen a marijuana grow house, but because of the unusual structure of the building without windows on Clear Lake Road in Dunebray, I asked if this was a marijuana grow operation and was told it was. Also, there are 3 more approved marijuana grow operations, and there's nothing you can do about it. I was shocked. How could I have not known about this? I then contacted several of my neighbors, and they too were unaware and quite shocked. As more and more people in the area were asked, it became apparent that no one knew. There are many reasons why this federally illegal operation should not be here in our residential pristine environment. I understand this type of business is unable to use banks, so there's a huge amount of cash on their premises. This can attract crime, and Dune City has no police department. Grow operations require large amounts of electricity. We have no commercially dedicated electric lines to accommodate this type of business, which would lead to brownouts. I'm told each marijuana plant requires about 1 gallon of water per day, and a typical grow has thousands of plants. Even though the subdivision has a water source, the grower has dug a commercial well to a depth of 430 feet or greater, whereas Woldink Lake is 80 feet. This could be very dangerous, as intercepting salt water is a strong risk, and being so deep can cause dry wells in the area. This commercial process releases horrible skunk-like smells, and some people have allergic reactions. A new crop maturing every 2 weeks, dehumidification and humid climate and drying is a real problem. Dune City is not prepared to have regulations, monitoring, and policing of such a business. We definitely need a timeout. Everything, stop everything. This is an emergency. The opt-out option that's available can give us a chance to give Dune City residents an opportunity to get facts and educated on the issues of importance with this type of business. And we will be able to vote against it in November of 2018. This is vital in giving Dune City an opportunity to remain a very special place, very rare and very unique. I totally support the passage of Ordinance 245 by our City Council members, the signing by our mayor, notifying the OLCC and the state to put this in moratorium. And this will allow the Dune City residents an opportunity to vote on a very critical issue, November of 2018. Let's let Dune City voice be heard.
Thank you.
And I want to say one quick more thing. One more thing, I just want to say that I appreciate people turning out here. I got to tell you, this is limited notice. Very few people know about this still. So I think in the future, we might need to figure some better place. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Tom Bassett?
My name is Tom Bassett, I live in Dune City. I'm not going to waste your time rehashing what I said about 3 months ago, basically, other than 3 key points. A, I am allergic to marijuana. I am allergic if I smell it or if I taste it. It doesn't make any difference, I still have an allergic reaction. I had to make an appointment in Eugene with a doctor who specializes in allergies. I've got a prescription that I can take in emergency in case something happens, so I feel somewhat safer about that. The second issue was the well. It's already been addressed. I won't spend much more time on that, other than I am next door to this facility. They have to line 430 feet, as you've all heard. My well is at 160 feet. 2 years ago during the summer, I had to truck water in 4 times because my well couldn't even handle the little landscape watering that I do. So I am extremely concerned that A, by the time they truck, I don't know how many trucks full of water a day to this facility, if they don't use a 430 foot well, I know that I'm going to lose water if they do use it, and that's extremely concerning to me. If I'm allowed to do this, I'll just ask and see. Richard Bailey is not here today because he had to work, but I have a short letter, if I can read that.
Sure, please.
Marijuana grow sites in Dune City. My name is Richard Bailey, and previously I've spoken to the City Council regarding my concerns relating to marijuana grow sites in Dune City. I wish to reiterate my position regarding this issue. My degree from Cal Poly in California is horticulture/floriculture. The commercial production of agricultural products qualifies me to speak on this issue with you. You will already have received myriad reassurances from these farmers, quote unquote, that the grow houses will be and are self-contained and cannot affect the surrounding environment. No one can possibly ensure that the activities involved in any agricultural concern will not affect the surrounding environment. Over time, things break down and age, and they require maintenance. Once this happens, the inevitability that there will be malfunctions negates any and all assurances that you have been given. Specifically consider these aspects of commercial growth: air quality. Various technologies are employed to filter, mask, and/or eliminate odors from a grow site. They have been proven not to be 100% successful. Water usage quality. It's claimed that water will be trucked in and that no water will leak into the surrounding area. It's absurd to believe that no water will escape any such facility. Ask yourself, why did the grow site on Dune Bray drill a well to over 400 feet when they hit water at just over 150 feet? What does that portend for our well at 160 feet? Electrical usage, sound pollution. Grow facilities require vast amounts of energy. When power fails, generators will be called upon to maintain the activities at the site, and we all know what generators sound like. Neighborhood influence. The grow site on Dune Bray is only half a block from where children are picked up and dropped off for school. Such proximity places children at risk both culturally and physically. Effect on adjoining property value. The significant decline in land values for properties adjacent to grow sites in residential areas is well documented. Toxic waste. The Dune Bray site located between Silkus and Wogan Lakes suggests the watershed will not be affected. It's insane. Need I say more? Council members, thank you for your attention. Richard Bailey.
Thank you. Ron Stanley, I have you down, but it doesn't say whether you're for or against.
Yeah. I
would have to say 4, I suppose, but like you, I'm graduating our college.
Please, come on up.
Well, my name is Ron Stanley, and I am a Dune City resident. I have been for over 17 years. My wife and I have been blessed to have lived in 2 amazingly beautiful areas, the second being here. But we've also had difficulty because the area before this was in northwestern California, in Redwood City, a place called Humboldt County. And the reason I bring that up, I'll continue with that in a moment, but I wanted to have that as a preface. I'm concerned about not so much the industry itself, but I'm concerned about zoning. This seems to be more of a zoning issue than targeting a certain industry. And in targeting the industry, does that mean that residential zoning throughout the city is going to become commercial? This is a commercial out industry. So if I were to get the proper permission, say, from the liquor board, by the way, this is a state and county, I'll talk about in-runs in just a second. If I were to get proper approval from, say, to start a distillery, which is only allowed that, I don't think so. This is not unlike that. So consideration might be the zoning itself, as well as, or instead of targeting an industry. Now, having said that about Humboldt County, the reason we're here, and the reason we're here, and we're blessed to be here, we're proud to be here and part of the community, is that we lived in Humboldt County for over 22 years. When we first moved to Humboldt County, it was a collection of ranchers, farmers, some really old timers, and a group of people that I'll call the back to land, which we were among that group. We bought acreage and we lived as much as we could off the land. We were never growers, by the way. Although we had to walk our property every year to make sure that somebody was not encroaching on the property to do that. However, things began to change as the industry, which was the legal vendor, changed too. It became less and less safe, but beyond that, that came a little bit later. I'll bring this into consideration now too. The things that were being done by the people who were growing is that they would tend to do end runs around local communities. They would do it by filing things with the state, with the county, and by the time local authorities, local people had a chance to do something about it, it was almost too late. And then, in addition to that, I'm just saying that I'm not saying everyone was this way, but many were. There was an attitude that authorities, or perhaps people who were not growers, were not to be trusted, or if there were ordinances, not to follow those because it didn't really matter. Consideration of neighbors. If you go on Google Earth now and look at southern Humboldt County, you will see huge, I'm not suggesting that's going to happen here, but this is what happened there. And then I'll bring it home. You'll see huge growing operations that are still illegal to have. You will see denuded land, trees that are cut right down to the ground, which is in direct lack of consideration for the neighbors, for the property, for the environment. I'm seeing on a 2-acre level the exact thing happening within a mile of my house. I watched that area being cut down and totally denuded, which seems to me that's not really a good neighbor, especially considering the fact that when that subdivision was approved by this council, I expressed concern about all of the trees being removed and was reassured by the
person who did the subdivision, that there were setbacks and that the pristine appearance of the area would not be altered, let's say, the way it has now. If you look at Google Earth from far up, you'll see a lovely square piece of blank earth there now. And really what I'm getting at now is that getting a foothold in the community is just that. It's just the first step toward continuing to ignore or overwhelm local governments on what's being done and then going and doing what you want. It eventually reached a point where it was dangerous enough for us to be there that we left our first pristine area that we thought we were going to be in the rest of our lives, but we're fortunate to come here. And so I think you might understand why I'm concerned about this, because we have already seen it happen in our lifetime. It took 22 years before, we've made it 17 years here so far, and I'm concerned about the zoning, and I'm concerned about what will come in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. John Speed, you didn't put down whether you were for or against it. Against? Stead, I'm sorry. John Stead?
Against.
Against, please, or, never mind. Now we'll start, but you can't come up, and now we're gonna go into those that are opposed to the ordinance. Please come up. No? Yeah. Check out what everybody does.
It was an oversight
That's
for
okay.
me to not check that. I anticipated that probably other people would be talking about the marijuana growing situation in general. And so I wanted to bring to your attention one small part of it, and that is the part that has to do with the well. OAR 690-210-000-5 applies to all methods of well construction. I'm suggesting that somebody needs to look at that OAR and see if the well is constructed in compliance with that OAR. OAR 340-040-0020 talks about groundwater protection, and I'm just going to give you the general policy. All groundwaters of the state shall be protected from pollution. Now, if this guy's running a well that's going to be down where the salt water is, and he's going to be pulling some of that up, I'm concerned that there may be some pollution. Groundwater may be legally diverted only if it is used under the terms of a valid water right for beneficial purposes. Now, whether that has occurred yet or not, I don't know. And then there's OAR 340-040-0030 that talks about permitted operations. And under 2A, it says groundwater monitoring requirements. The permittee or permit applicant shall submit to the department, that's the Water Resources Department, for approval of a groundwater monitoring plan. Whether, I doubt that has been accomplished. And it includes system design, well location, well construction, background monitoring points, detection monitoring points, water quality compliance points, sample collection and analysis, parameters to be sampled, sampling frequency and duration, sample collection methods, sample handling and chain of custody, analytical methods, acceptable minimum reporting levels, quality assurance and quality control plan, data analysis procedures, statistical analysis methods, frequency of analysis. Reporting requirements. The facility permit shall specify monitoring and assessment reporting requirements. I'm speculating that none of that has happened. And it is something that somebody needs to look into. I would suggest that probably this may be a place to start. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now go to the people that are opposed to the current resolution. Is Valerie Neville?
Yeah.
Please.
Hi, I'm Valerie K. Mathis. My address is 83420 Dunbury Road. And I'm actually very happy to see all the people that have come. I'm sorry that you weren't here when we discussed this originally because you would have
Can
found
I
out.
object to her address?
No.
She doesn't
Why?
have an address here.
I
She's
have.
Atlanta.
I'm sorry, I have an address.
Can you give me a Florence?
Excuse me. Excuse me. This is Beth. Hang on.
Yeah.
I object. She doesn't live here.
You
She
can
lives in
object.
Florence.
Object.
Florence.
Object. Well heard.
She's not a citizen of this city.
Come on, let's. Valerie, please,
Thank you.
continue.
Now, I'm very happy that everybody's here, and I enjoy hearing what people that are against it have to say. First of all, the well was done in order, it was a requirement from the OLCC. It went 430 feet, it's totally legal, it was drilled by a well. You know, the well, Lee's well. And it has been tested, and we do have tanks underground that will be filled once a month to water the plants. And if anybody has any concerns, if you would watch the video from before, it will tell you everything. We had the person from OLCC with me. Everybody was here, we discussed it. It was very informative. And I'm very sorry that people did not see it, because I don't think that there would be such an uproar. It's an agricultural industry. It's not a commercial one. I'm not selling anything out of my grow house. I heard somebody say that we had 3 doors. You know, I didn't talk while you were talking, and that's very
I'm not saying a
rude.
word. I'm not
I
saying
can hear you. Okay.
Let her talk.
I just feel like there's such an anger and animosity for something that, you know, people don't know a lot about. You know, I come as Becky did, God rest her soul, with cancer stage 2, and I'm cured now, but I have multiple sclerosis. I meet people continuously. That's the only reason that I'm doing this. I came from a background of law enforcement. I also lived in Humboldt County. And that's a totally different atmosphere than Dune City. We didn't come here to grow. We came here to live. The reason the trees were cleared on my plot is because my house is going to be large. And I'm just kind of disappointed that, you know, this has happened. But the attorneys had asked that I request a extension on this, since we were just noticed a day ago about what the proposal was, so that they can respond. And they will be talking to Ross about what's going on. We were grandfathered in, and we're hoping that we're still going to continue to have that ability to proceed on. I'm sorry that people feel the way they do. I know one resident thought that we had a 3-car garage looking thing, but that's not even us. We are at 83420 Dunbury Road, which is the corner of Dunbury and Clear Lake Road. We will be moving in next week, and we welcome anybody to come by and take a look. You won't even know it's a grow, and everything we said here was absolutely true. And actually, one of the residents called the next day after the meeting and asked us how to do a grow. And, you know, we told him that he was at the meeting, and we told him that we were under the understanding that nobody else would be getting a lunch. So I feel like there's a lot of deception going on. We've been very upfront and very honest. If anybody has any questions about how I'm doing things or how my partners are doing anything, my number is 707-853-1383. I'll be more than happy to show you the grow and discuss it with you. But I don't feel like being, you know, this anger. You know, I wish everybody would have been here before, because I feel like somebody made a phone call and all these angry people showed up. And I really kind of resent that. So I'm glad that, you know, we had Jackie there when we did, because she was very fair. And I'm hoping that this will remain to be a very fair and honest and open discussion. Because we didn't come here to harm anybody. We all retired and we came here just to live a happy, healthy life. And yes, I have enough money to own a couple houses, and I do. I do own a house in Florence, but as you see, in 1 week, we'll be moving out here. So I consider myself a resident. And I hope that people who are angry at us for no reason, that we feel would become good neighbors with us, good citizens. So we are asking for an extension for this, because we are getting ready to be licensed. And this is we put a lot of money in it. $350,000 has to be paid by somebody if we don't get it, because we were insured that we should have it. So we'll let the attorneys deal with that. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Patty Small?
Thank you.
Patty Small?
I'm here, but I don't need to speak.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, then, if that be said, then I'll now close the public hearing at, excuse me, but,
You do take a break and need a decision as to whether to leave the record open. No, I know. What about the script that wasn't on?
Does anybody here have grandchildren?
I have children.
I've got about 10 too. I have a 4-year-old grandson whose mother was a heroin addict and alcoholic while she was carrying him. My daughter and her husband adopted him out of New Hampshire, and they're up in Salem now. The boy was having between 30 and 50 seizures a day. That's a day. And my daughter, who is really against the medical marijuana stuff, had the opportunity to, through OHSU, to try it on him. He went from 30 to 50 seizures a day to like 1 or 2. There is a lot of good. These people aren't growing they're not growing the recreational. These guys are going to grow the medical.
Thank you.
There's very little medical. There's very little medical.
Educated.
It's not a medical.
all right, people,
It's not a medical road.
bring it back to order, we'll go through this place. We'll not have this. Calm down.
It is.
Finish, Paul.
Well, I just think that before people make decisions, you know, put your grandson or granddaughter in that situation. Would you do anything to
Or
try
your
to help
wife,
them?
or your son.
Okay, your son, your mom, your dad, a loved one.
Can I say something?
Let him finish.
All I'm saying is that there's a lot of people here. There, unfortunately, is some people that don't have all the facts. They are medical going in here, by the way. No for fact.
We want you.
Medical marijuana has very little, if any, THC quality for it. It's not for getting high. You can smoke it all day and not get high. It's medical, and they're finding right now there's a lot of stuff that helps out when people have situations. How many people in here are on painkillers? How many people have
I was gonna say, he didn't sign up.
didn't sign up, but make it quick. Unfortunately, there are some people that have painkillers. I was one where I had an operation that went bad at the hospital. For 16 years, they've had me hooked on oxycodone. I'm now off it, which is probably the best thing. Feel better. But the medical does wonders. I have very little use of my arms and hands because of a surgery that went horribly wrong. And it seems to be between that and maybe acupuncture. It's the first time I haven't hurt in 16 years. You know, there is good benefits. I can't say all of them are, but you know, and people are going to abuse. How many people here abuse alcohol?
Hi, my name is Paul.
Hey,
Can I have a chance, please?
the lady in the back.
Hi, I'm Tamara Carpenito. I'm a Dune City resident. I live across the street from this woman's property. This is my first town hall meeting ever. I had a neighbor come by and let me know what was going on. I thought it was just somebody who didn't know the area that was building on that property because it got clear cut. And that's really not a smart idea in our area with all of the rainfall and being on a slope. So I know she's not a government organization and maybe she doesn't need an environmental impact statement, but my background is environmental science, ethics, and policy. So I know a little bit about it, and I know that that's not a good choice, especially for the neighbors living downhill and for us living right above her. And if she's so neighborly, why didn't she come knock on our door and say, hey, we're gonna put this commercial property right across the street from you where your kid plays and where our neighbors' kids play? And what about the processing? Who's gonna come in and help her trim? Do we know these people? Are these people that are actually good people to have in our neighborhood? If it's a commercial property, why weren't us residents who live right across the street notified? When the winds were blowing, let me go back to the trees. When the winds were blowing, you know, a few months ago, a lot of those trees were falling down because she cut so close to the road. There was no protection for the trees. We had trees falling in the street. I don't think that's considerate for neighbors.
That was county trees, by the way.
Well, I don't care what it was, but you cleared the trees. You cleared all the support. That's not wise, and it's not neighborly at all. And, you know, I live right across the street. You could have came and knocked on my door and said, hey, I got this going on, and just explained to me what you were doing instead of me getting some random knock on my door from, you know, a neighbor.
We had
saying,
a meeting here.
yeah, but, you know, there's people that don't come to
Folks,
the
we
meetings.
need to bring this into
You know?
people that are making comments to the board, not to each
Where
other.
was I? I was
This is
working
not
on
a
multiple-time
town hall
teacher.
where we're talking at each other. And you needed to have signed up to address the council.
Well, you've got an open forum going here. Not everyone that's speaking has got that. I moved here, I made a multi-million-dollar investment in a home here, okay? This was not an agricultural property. This was a residential area. I don't know all the stuff that they're talking about, and I could appreciate somebody wants to grow something somewhere. They got the whole damn state of Oregon to grow something. This is a residential area, not a commercial area, not a business area. Wait. Let me finish.
Yes.
You can play all the games that you want to play, but you got a lot of residents here, a lot of attorneys here. You're not going to get away with putting this in agriculture area here. It's not going to work. I don't care what their BS, if it's commercial, health, or whatever the hell it is. This area is a residential area. That's what it says. It doesn't say anything else about doing a damn thing here. I can't open up a drugstore here. I can't open up any kind of pipeline business or whatever.
We could sure open up a body shop.
Hey, wait, he's not letting me speak. I'm speaking. I don't want to hear his BS.
Oh, underground.
All I'm telling you is it's a residential area. If you want lawsuits, you're gonna get them. Trust me.
We're done.
I'll come to your body.
All right.
Could I say one thing?
All right, people, we've got to move on. You haven't signed up.
I signed up, I'd like to continue.
No, you're done. Thank you.
I can't, I signed up, I was one of the few to sign up.
I know,
I
and
have
one
one
more
more
time,
thing.
thank you very much for your conversation and for your input to this. All right, we're gonna run this the way we're supposed to run these meetings.
Yeah, start over then.
If the record remains open, you're more than welcome to submit written comments to the office. They will be distributed to the council members. So I encourage all of those who felt like they didn't get a chance to be heard completely to please put your thoughts down in writing and submit it to City Hall.
And the other thing is we have to have a second reading on this, right?
Well, if you leave the public hearing open, we can come back and do this.
Exactly, and that's what I'm gonna suggest we do is leave this open so that we can, now that you've all heard some things and you'd like to repeat or you would like to add to those thoughts, that we can do this again. Is that? All right, then Jamie, let's leave this open.
Yes. I will take a vote just in case.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous, thank you. Now, wait, please, put your further thoughts down, get them in, and come to the next meeting as well, because I'm sure we would like to add on to the things that you've heard and, forward. So the next thing on the agenda is an executive session. I'll now adjourn this special session of Dune City Council to go into executive session held pursuant to ORS 192.6602E to conduct deliberations with persons designated by the governing body to negotiate real property transactions. Only representatives of the news media and designated staff will be allowed to attend the executive session. The time is 3:02.
Citizens.
Now reopen the Dune City special session back to order at 3:15. Nice talking to you. Old business. I would entertain a motion to approve resolution series 2017, number 14, adopting 2017-2018 fiscal budget supplementary budget. So moved. Second. Everybody in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Hearing none, it's passed. So if there are no further deliberations, I'll call the question. All those in favor, or we just... Old business number B. All in correct? Okay. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve resolution series 2017 under 16, which is regarding the purchase of real property, and specifically authorizing the city administrator to execute all documents necessary to effect the purchase of real property located across the street from City Hall for the sum of $100,000 together with closing costs.
So moved.
Is there any discussion? None? Hearing none? All in favor? Pass. Unanimous. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, you seconded, yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. Now it's, thank you. Now, item C,
Mayor,
yes, please.
Since you have left the record open, you voted to keep the record
Right.
open, both of those items will be continued to the next regular meeting.
Got it. Item C.
Unless you choose to have it at an earlier meeting. You have the right to choose to have it at an earlier meeting if you want.
Quite honestly, my opinion is that there's a lot to digest. There's probably a bunch of phone calls we've got to make. I would like to see how much we can get on public record for the audience that was here to get information to us. And so I would like to suggest that we make that part of our regular session on September 13th.
I agree.
Agree with that? All right, thank you. So we'll leave that open. And that is with D as well. All right, so we made it through this one.
There are a couple
Good.
of items.
Go ahead. For good of the order?
First of all, I need to ask Council President Meyer, did you bring the email complaint with you? The one I gave you the other day?
Yes.
I don't know if I'm biased or not.
We had a couple of emails.
We have two or three.
This one would be by itself, and it's from Wesley Cottle.
Yes, we do.
Okay. I want to bring that to your attention because it is a complaint about me.
Uh-huh.
You guys have to deal with it, so.
Right, okay.
Okay, and then the other thing, and I'll let you do that in just a second. And the other one is the other two emails. Catherine Cottle has been kind enough to start working on ideas to help raise money for Dune City. And she submitted a couple of them by email, so I have those before you.
Yes.
I would suggest, with those that we, will pass that on and have the city manager work and give us some ideas. What I would like to see is how much time you and staff would take to do that sort of thing. Should we need a conversation of, could we put a committee together, that type of thing? And then let's address, I think we should address both of those at the next meeting so that the public can hear what we're talking about and maybe get some volunteers to help with that type of thing.
You may wish to appoint an investigating committee into the complaint.
If you don't mind, I think if you don't mind, I'll take that up with Jamie in closed session as it's a personnel issue. And I'll get back to you with any kind of resolution that we can do.
That's fine.
That sounds good. All right, thank you.
That's all I have.
That's all you have? Good in the order. Oh, yes. Sorry.
I have no idea what the letter was that she wrote.
Yeah, we'll come up with that. Okay. Thank you. Absolutely. Sheldon?
Thank you for setting up and deciding that you wanted to sit there in the hot seat.
So we get the big buck.
Yes, thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you for taking a chance with it. Alan, you need to- Tom?
No, I'm fine. My thought is that we need to address ordinance number 245 just as soon as possible. They have requested this emergency situation, and I really need to move on it. Granted, we need information, and we need to be cognizant of all that we're talking about here. Mainly, is it legal? And, I don't know. I think it would be advisable to go ahead and vote on it, and not today, as requested, but as soon as possible, and if the attorneys want to battle it out, then they battle it out.
No, I don't think that's a bad idea. Bob, anything?
No, I agree that we need to address it as soon as possible, but I also think we need a little more time to look into it.
Yeah, I think we need some conversations happening.
Yeah.
Appropriately, I feel whichever way we vote, there's going to be attorneys involved. It seems to be very contentious.
Yeah, well, it's like many things in public, we can have people on one side and the other and a whole bunch of people in the middle, and that's what we're here to do. That's why you get the smaller buck. Anything else? I entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting. So moved. Second. All in favor? Aye. We're adjourned. Thank you all. And thank you all.
And there's still one
All right, we're good. Something else, Jamie, to announce that.